Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for everyone's day, deadlift day. Back to conventional. Using my current training system that I'm utilizing, we're going to go back to conventional deadlifts. Honestly, while the deficits were fun, they again got me into the groove of doing certain things. It's time to start getting strong on all these exercises again, on all my normal exercises. So I'm starting to rotate in regular conventional deadlift again. I'm about to rotate in back squats again, and use this current system. And the system, for those unfamiliar, I take a weight I could easily do 3 reps with, and I build towards 10 sets of 3. When I get to 10 sets of 3, we add weight, reduce the sets, and repeat the process. When we stall, we use accessory work to build the lifts up. We find some of the weak points in the lifts, or even some of the strong points in the lift, and make them stronger. Now, today, I didn't go ultra heavy, because again, this system is fine. My deadlift doesn't need to progress very much. If I want to be all around strong, I don't have to add a hell of a lot more to my deadlift to be strong by anyone's standards. Not strong for a 40-something-year-old man. Not strong for a 40-something-year-old man weighing just over 200 pounds. Because we already know my max is going to be over 600 if I were to test it based on all my rep work. We know that. Does it need to be much more than that? Probably not. I mean, truth be told, if I come and pull 650 without a belt, is anyone going to call me weak? They're not even going to call me weak if I was in my 20s, let alone being in my 40s. So not a big deal. I don't need to add a lot to my deadlift, but I need to keep it strong, and I need to utilize it to get rid of weak links in my chain. I can focus a lot more on my bench, my standing press, and my squats if I don't go 100% all the time on the deadlift. But we still need to train it, and we still need to get some hypertrophy from it. Now, I will eventually probably spend some time mastering power cleans and start using power cleans as a deadlift accessory for days when I don't feel like doing a lot of deadlifting. So I came in today, and for those curious, it's not as heavy as you think it is. That last plate is a 35. It's not a 45. So this is only 475. But 475 for 6 work sets, not bad. This is enough that I feel like I've challenged. This is enough to be at my minimum effective volume, but not going to be difficult to recover from. I felt like on the last set I could have gotten more sets, but I've got an overhead press and squat later this week. All right, I can't push the deadlift to the point to where it buries me. And I know over time I'll rebuild it up. And by doing all these multiple sets and videoing, this is really, really helping me with leverages. And that's something I'm really happy about with this training system, particularly since I'm videoing so much of it. It is giving me tools to look and see where my leverage problems and stuff are. Like right now, I've been watching this stuff. You watch my knees a little bit. I've always deadlifted narrow because my quads tend to be big. My quads are smaller because I haven't been squatting heavy. They're going to start growing again soon. So I've got to be aware of that. Of maybe I need to grip the bar a hair wider, because I figured out doing my deficit deadlifts that I needed a slightly wider stance. I got more pop off the floor, more bar speed at the weak point out of the bottom on the deficits, because it taught me that if I just bring my feet out another inch, I got a lot more speed right out of the bottom, and that's what we need. We need speed out of the bottom. I'm probably going to have to adjust my grip width, because you guys can kind of see here already where it's almost too narrow for my foot spacing. It's at that bleeding edge right now to where it could probably stand to come out a hair. Well, my quads are going to grow. And so that's going to be a factor there also over time. They're going to be hitting my forearms. So I'll work with that as I go, but again, this is a valuable tool, and I'm really happy with these sets. They were all easy. I mean, none of this was difficult. I mean, it's not like I'm doing grinders. And I stopped at 6 because I'm like, you know what, my lower back's got a good pump here. My hands are a little sore. That's enough for today. We'll get more next time. We'll add a set next time. And you have to think in those terms. When you start training with a heavy system like I'm using right now, you've got to think in those terms. Leave a little bit in the tank, because I can always get more later. But you don't come in and half-ass it. There's no room for half-assery in here either. You got to find that balance between the two. How much is enough, hard enough to grow on without pushing beyond your limits, without getting injured, without getting hurt? And that's what I did. I felt comfortable with 6 sets, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get 7 next time, and then I'll get 8. Not a big deal. Now, over to the strict curls. Added 10 pounds today. I did these for the first time last week. Now, some people are like, why are you doing strict curls? I thought chin-ups work for biceps. Chin-ups do work for biceps. I'm doing too much training volume. I can't handle chin-ups anymore. That's the point I always make about volume, recovery, all of these things. There are times when you have to do an isolation movement. There are times when you have to do an isolation movement because your recovery will not allow for more compounds. Chin-ups are not going to help me reach any goal right now other than bigger biceps. Now, can chin-ups build as big a biceps as curls? Hell yes, they can. Yes, they can. Anyone who tells you otherwise is full of shit and doesn't know basic human physiology. I don't have the recovery room. I'm doing a lot of heavy volume with a lot of big compounds and trying to progress on them without gaining weight, guys. I'm slow cutting and recomping still. I can't afford the scale weight gain. So chin-ups had to go. But I also realized the strict curl is now a competitive lift. It's a competitive lift. I don't want there to be, outside of Olympic lifting, which is extremely technique oriented, people are actually being judged on their strict curl. Apparently the strict press is coming back in certain competitive circles. So it's a good thing. I'm working on it, isn't it? Well, I want to be strong at these things. If people are having strength standards on these exercises, I want to be strong. All right? I don't want people to say Jason just deadlifts. I don't want that. I want to be strong. I enjoy being strong. It motivates me. And since I found out this is a competitive lift, here we go. Since I found out this is a competitive lift again, and I'm wanting to be strong on all the basic, big competitive lifts that are used for strength standards, I damn well better do it. Now, someone asked me, why aren't you using an arm blaster? Because they don't allow arm blasters in the competitive lift. Your head has to be against the pad that they have, your butt has to be against the pad, and your knees have to be locked. And I'm like, well, you know what? This is great because this is going to do a few things for me. It's going to do a few things for me. Number one, and we'll get back to this in a minute because I'm about to have my ab footage come in. But yeah, another inch of bicep. Is that going to hurt my outreach on YouTube? No, it's not. And I'm less likely to tear a bicep deadlifting. I've torn a bicep before. I don't want to go through that again. That's going to help me. And I'll get back to some curls in a minute because this is where I'm at in the footage. I'll re-loop some of the curling. Standing crunches. All right, look at the V-taper there. Deadlifts. Rows for the hoes, curls for the girls. But those deadlifts are really my main back builder. They give you that V-taper that makes the hose want to rape you, as Chris Jones says. Getting that V-taper, man, I'll lose a few more inches off my waist. We'll be good to go, won't we? We will be good to go. Got to keep that cardio up, keep that diet clean, and the fat low, and we'll get there. I mean, I'm making progress. It's taking time, but it is coming along. You know what? I'll get back on all this strength training and see where I'm at in a year. I'm playing the long game, guys. Can I continue to lose fat and get stronger and shore up my weak links for the next year? Where are we going to be at in a year? Old man strength. Playing the long game. Paying attention to connective tissue, recovery, progressive overload, balancing workload and recovery. I'm going to get there. And since I'm recording so much footage now, this is really giving me a lot of tools now that I've established these baselines on these lifts. Now I can use all this footage, look at the angles, and start looking at efficiency. Or how does my grip width look? How does my bar path look? That's the beauty of high set training. Specifically when you start recording it, it allows you to use that footage, use your feeling, use your bar speeds on different sets to see how the different variables affect bar speed, strength, things like that. I'm about to start completely changing my grip on my bench press, my strict standing press, all that stuff. Again, move forward. These are tools that we can use. And as far as these curls go, for those who notice, yeah, I went up 10 pounds today. And anyone who would laugh and say, man, 65-pound curls, you deadlift way over 500 for reps. You're struggling with 65-pound curls just like you do it. Now, some of you guys probably can. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of guys who spend a lot of time training biceps. I don't. But I'm doing them now. And you know what? Let's see where these are at in 6 months. If I stay consistent with this and use it as a nice little secondary exercise a couple times a week, I think it's going to progress pretty well. We're not going to know till I do it for a while. But yeah, it feels good, and it's challenging. It was tough. My biceps were throbbing. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.